Guys, guess what? I just got my 6th king coin. I know, right? I get to walk the winner's walk, which is just this. I know. I'm so excited. I done shit my britches. But I didn't wipe. No, I'm just kidding. Hello, everybody. Z3 KO Trinity here. Nope, not a Goosebumps shirt, but welcome to Goosebumps 3KO. Today's review, if you didn't understand the beginning, is the horror at Camp Jellyjam. Now, this one was a good one. I like this one a lot. It was just awesome. R.L. Stine really did a good job with this one, especially with the monster design for King Jellyjam. But we'll get to it when we get there. But R.L. Stine, you really came up with a brilliant, creepy monster. Alright. So for those of you who don't know what this is about, and since it don't have an episode, I will warn you that I will spoil this book. So if you haven't read it, don't know what it's about, and don't want to know, click off the video now. But for what this book is about, we got our main character. Her name is Wendy. Her and her brother are with their parents. They're driving to some location. I can't even remember where. I don't even care to remember. But the mom is the most annoying character ever. The whole animal thing, just her attitude through the whole beginning is just annoying. The bickering between this family, like right off the bat, I'm just like, I don't think I'm going to like this book. But don't let leave that taste in your mouth, because it gets so much better from that point. But just wanted to clarify, the mom was the most annoying thing about this whole book, this whole story. But the kids are bored. They don't know what to do. So apparently their parents is traveling with like a trailer thing. So the kids are like, hey, can we ride in the trailer? So that way we could just, have fun and stuff. And well, I mean, technically that's illegal, but the parents are like, sure, if it'll shut you little shits up, get your ass in there. Hell, the mom probably unhitched the sumbitch herself. Well, they get in there, they're playing arm wrestling and stuff like that, and, well, it comes unhitched. They're flying backwards, and they crash over the hillside into trees and stuff. Pretty darn epic. Then they get a knock at the door. They hear someone at the door, and they're thinking, oh, thank God, Mom and Dad are here to save us. And then it ended up being their mom and dad, and the end. No, I'm just kidding. It is this guy right here. His name is Buddy the Elf. No, I'm just kidding. His name is Buddy. And he shows up, and he's like, are y'all alright? Everything okay? And they're like, yeah, we're good. Where's Mom and Dad? And he's like, how the hell am I supposed to know? They're 40 miles down west. No. So he tells them, he's like, well, listen, we got a camp right up the road. You guys should just come and join, and we'll see if we can contact your parents. And they're like, oh, okay, thank you. And so they're walking up there, and the camp is called Camp Jellyjam. And they have this big purple jelly-looking monster with a crown on as their king mascot, which is kind of cool. I like that. And so someone just walked by my window, so I was kind of like... So they're like, oh, okay. And then she sees this redhead girl, and she's like, acting weird, acting strange. She's like, turn around. Don't go to the camp. Don't go to the camp. So, I like that. We didn't really get it in the Night in Terror Tower, but in the episode where the spirit of Morgred says, turn back, turn back. I love those little warnings like that. Like, I just think it really adds to the story. So, I like that part, but, of course, she's like, she's weird. I'm just going to keep following Buddy. So her and her brother Elliot is very, very competitive. He loves competition, and what this camp is a competition camp, which is really, really cool, actually. They have all kinds of games. They play baseball, basketball, swimming. They even have chess, of all things. I mean, just every kind of thing you can think of that involves competition, they have it. So the brother is like, oh yeah, this is right up my alley. But of course, Wendy, she is actually, I like Wendy a lot. I like her character a lot. She is actually really good at pretty much anything, but she doesn't choose to be good. Like she legitimately could win all the games that they play in here, but she genuinely just wants other people to win. She could care less about getting those coins, which I'll get to that. So, my man Buddy, he explains the rules of the camp. See, they have these things called king coins, and if they're little golden coins, and if you can get 6 of them, then you get to enter in the grand event of the night, which is the winner's walk. And so, naturally, her brother's like, oh, hell yeah, that sounds so cool, which it does. I would actually like to have went to a camp like that. That sounds pretty cool. But, of course, it's not what we expect. So, she is introduced to her bunkmates. You got Deirdre, which I think I'm saying that name right, Deirdre. You got Jan, and you got Ivy. And they come off pretty, bad. They're apparently they threaten to beat her ass. They're like, we're going to kick your ass. They're just coming off real strong like bullies. But then, of course, they're like, ha, we're just joking. Ha, my name's Deirdre. What's yours? And, apparently they're supposed to be best friends now. Well, they decide to go swimming. But you can't just simply go swimming at this place. You have to be in the spirit of competition. So you can't just get in the pool and relax. If you're getting in the pool, you're racing against other people. You can't just go and shoot some hoops. No, you have to play basketball against other people. I mean, this is just how it works. So, we get to that event, and of course, our good girl, Deidre, she has her 5 coins, and she's getting in this swim race with Wendy, and Wendy, like I said, is really good. She, right off the bat, gets the lead. And I mean, she could legitimately, if she wanted to, win the whole race. But she understands that, this girl, she's legitimately trying her best. Wendy clearly sees it. She only needs 1 coin left. So, she kind of backs off. She's like, you know what? Just go ahead. Because that's what I like about Wendy. She is good, but she's compassionate, and she doesn't care about winning. She doesn't care about the prize. She doesn't care about, winning. She just really wanted to swim. That's pretty much it. So she lets her win. Well, after their swim, apparently, which is one of the creepy moments in this book, her counselor, Holly, shows up. And she's kind of like Buddy. I mean, they're all dressed up. I mean, the cover is pretty much legit, but they have a badge. So that's the only thing that's missing from the actual picture. But she comes up to her and she's like, hey, do you know our camp slogan? And she's like, yeah, I know what it is. I see it written everywhere. It's don't down too many hot dogs. And she's like, no, it's only the best. That's the best around. Yeah, only the best is throughout the book. And she was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I thought I did pretty good. And she was like, I noticed that you held back and let her win. That's not doing your best. And she, Wendy kind of throws off oh, well, sorry, shit happens. But the woman's like, no, consider this a warning. And I'm like, damn. apparently, if you don't do your best, something can happen to you. So, right off the bat, uneasy about this story. Love it. I really, really enjoyed that. So, up next, we have the big event, the big walk. And Deirdre's winning, blah, blah, blah. So her roommates decide to throw her a party. But she never comes back. So they get kind of worried, and it's getting kind of late. They decide to go out and look for her. While they're out, they notice that all the counselors are acting like really strange. Like they're all heading into this one direction in the woods. But they start, they continue on, they're looking for her, and then they come across Alicia, which is the red hair girl from earlier. And she's all in distress, just scared out of her mind. She's like, you guys got to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. But she can't speak because counselors start showing up. And so, they go back to bed. Well, next day, it's kind of rinse and repeat from this point. Like, her brother is, like, loving this. He's already won, like, 3 or 4 coins at this point. So he's just really pumped, excited about this. And he's like, shoot, if I keep up, I could be in the next winner's walk. Which, of course, his sister's like, I don't care. She's just worried about what happened to her friend. Well, rinse and repeat. Next night, there's another winner's walk. And, we get introduced to a couple more people, but, the names aren't really that important. Mostly just the people you get to meet, they end up disappearing. So there's like a pattern, like, the winners all disappear without a trace, and not even their clothes. Like, they open the drawers and stuff, and even they're gone. It's as if they've never even been there. And so she asks the counselor about it, which there's actually a moment that I had missed. So there is a moment where Wendy's practicing, like, I guess softball, I think it was. Either softball or baseball. I'm pretty sure it was softball. Well, anyway, she doesn't see this guy coming. And so she swings the bat as hard as she could. She cracks him right in the chest. And any normal human being would have been down on the ground, huffing and puffing. But no, not him. It's like you just barely tapped him. He didn't make no facial change, no change of breathing, nothing. It's as if he was like some kind of android. And she was like, oh my God, are you okay? And he's just like, yeah. He starts talking normal. So yeah, there's something weird about these counselors. But let's jump back to where I was. Sorry for the, all over the place. That's just my mentality anyway. So we get back, all the other people start going missing. So our girl Wendy decides to go out and investigate again. So she sees the counselors once again heading into the woods. So she's like, let me follow them. So she goes there, and there's like this theater shack kind of thing. And so she goes in it, and all the counselors are sitting there. And you got our main man, Bud, up in the front. And he's all, giving his little speech and stuff. And he hypnotizes them. And they're like, only the best, only the best, only Wendy's, only McDonald's. And we only eat vegan. And so she, was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. They're all like some kind of cult, some kind of like hypnotized cult. And then she sneezes and farts. And they're like, what the fuck? And so she hauls ass, and she thinks she's getting into some kind of closet, but it's really like a downstairs secret room. She's like, I wonder what's down here. So she starts going down. And then when she shows up, as she gets there, she smells this god-awful smell. I mean, it is rancid. And then she gets to the bottom and sees the most ungodly thing in the whole universe. She sees all these kids chained up. They're all got mops, buckets, and stuff, and they seem to be scrubbing this gigantic blob monster thing, which we find out is old King Jellyjam himself. Now, the way I will describe him would just totally ruin it. So, let me see if I can find the thing, the actual page. Alright, there's the sneeze. Alright, here we go. I was staring at King Jellyjam. Not a cute little mascot, but a fat, gross, purple mound of slime. I mean, this is what he looks like. Nearly as big as a house, wearing a gold crown. So that's interesting. I forgot to mention that. 2 enormous watery yellow eyes rolled around in his head. He smacked his fat purple lips. Dripped from his... Oh, wait. And groaned again. Hunks of thick white goo dripped from his huge hairy nostrils. The disgusting odor rolled off his body. Even holding my own nose couldn't keep the stench of sour out. He smelled like dead fish, rotting garbage, sour milk, Levi Ward, a burning rubber all at once. The gold crown bounced on top of his slimy wet head. His purple stomach heaved. Oh, shit, I lost my place. As if an ocean wave was breaking inside of him, and he let out a putrid burp that shook the walls. Kids, dozens of them, scrubbing that sumbitch. And then, objects rained from his body. Click, click, click. This is the most disgusting part. Things start falling to the floor. Snails! Snails popping out through King Jellyjam's skin. Snails popping out. I started gagging again when I realized the hideous creature was sweating snails. Now, if that isn't an awesome, gross, badass monster, I don't know what is. R.L. Stine, you really nailed this one. I mean, like, for example, I won't do the review for a while, but I recently read How to Kill a Monster, and the monster in that's just pure lazy writing. That's just completely lazy. But King Jellyjam, now that was brilliant. Very, very awesome. Well, they're scrubbing this thing, and the reason why you have to have only the best is because he wants these kids to scrub all day, all night. And the reason why they have to clean them is because even King Tut. Even King Jellyjam can't stand his own stench. I mean, it's so bad. So that's why he only has the best of the kids with the most stamina and everything clean them. And they have to constantly, I mean, it's 24 hours a day they have to clean this thing. So yeah, what a way to win. Well, if they stop cleaning this creature, if they get tired, if they stop, he will literally eat them. And we never see it, like, I never read it, so it never actually happens. But Deirdre, or whatever, she says that she had already seen him eat 3 kids while she was there. So this thing is legitimately killing the kids. Think about that. So, Deirdre tells her, "You go, run." So she does. She goes to find her brother. He has won 5 gold coins, and he is about to win his 6th one. So he's entering this race, and he's hauling ass. He's about to win, and his sister tackles him and stops him. Which, this is a light bulb to her brother. Now, this is a character trait, that I've already talked about her, that I really loved. And I love how R.L. Stine uses it in this matter. Her brother realizes that she must be telling the truth. Because she would always let people win. if she knew that they wanted the win, if they needed it, blah, 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 he knew that his sister would let people win. So the fact that she stopped him from getting his 6th coin, that was serious. So, brilliant writing, just really good job, R.L. Stine. You know, this is the character development and characteristics that, you know, I like. Where they have these quirks about them that you can actually use through the story. I love that. Well, her and her brother go down there. You know, same thing, they're scrubbing away. Well, she gets this idea, like, oh my God, he is so fat, he can't reach down too far. So she's like, everyone hit the ground, everyone get down. So they all drop down, and the monster's like, oh, God damn it, oh, son of a bitch, oh. And he's trying his best to grab them, and then the stench just rises, because they're not cleaning them. And he's like, oh my God. And he's like, frantically trying to grab one of them because I guess he has T-Rex arms. He's, oh, son of a bitch. And then he finally grabs Deirdre. And then just as he's about to eat her, he chokes to death from his own stench. Yeah, King Jellyjam dies from his own stench. Awesome. So yeah, the story continues. Once this happens, apparently the counselors kind of break out of this hypnotizing spell. And then the cops, not too long, show up. And of course the counselors, you know, they're like, oh my God, I'm sorry, we were hypnotized. We didn't know what we were doing. And then the cops show up, and her parents show up. And the reason why the cops show up is because they can smell this smell from miles away, so they wanted to investigate. And then they get the parents, and everything's good. Well, a couple weeks later, this is where we reach the end of the story. A couple weeks later, the parent, or not the parents, they hear a knock at the door. So her and her brother go to answer it, and it's good old Billy Bub. And he shows up, and he's like, I'm here to give Elliot his 6th coin. Because, well, you were legitimately going to win that race. So I think you've earned it. So here's your 6th coin. And of course they're hesitant. They're like, like we're going to take that after all the shit we've been through. Yeah. Well, he ends up taking it anyway. And then they start smelling this foul stench. And then they're like, oh, shit. But it turns out their mom is making Brussels sprouts. Oh, so that's how the book ends. That was awesome. I really enjoyed this book. What did I give this book, you ask? I actually give this book a solid 9 out of 10. It is an A. It was really good. It's not 100%. There are one or two things that I kind of don't care for, but there's like not much. So I felt like those kind of knocked it down from being the A+. But no, this is a solid read. This is a really good and interesting book. I loved the characters. I love the monster design. I love the ending, how they come about stopping this thing. I just think this is one of R.L. Stine's best books, in my personal opinion. What did you guys think about the book? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Is this one of your favorites? I know Ozzy Goosebumps fan, this is his absolute favorite. Is this the worst book you've ever read? Does this book stink more than King Jellyjam? Let me know in the comment section below. So let's check out the cover, which of course my book is all beat up. I wished I could have had a better copy, but it'll be alright. Tennis, ping pong, monsters, anybody? we got some cabins, some kind of plain looking cabins, grass, little dark skies. I kind of like that. Of course, we have our real creepy guy. The only thing missing is the badge. No big deal. It's not whether you win or lose. It's how you stay alive. Right off. Swimming. basketball, archery, Pornhub. King Jellyjam Sports Camp has it all. Too bad Wendy isn't a total sports freak like her little brother, Elliot. But how excited can you get over a game of softball? Well, that answered that question. It's just a game, right? Wrong! It says wrong. I'm probably scared the shit out of the neighbors. Because Camp Jellyjam is no ordinary sports camp. And Wendy's about to find out why. Why the counselors seem a little too happy. A little too obsessed with winning. And why the ground is always crumbling late at night. I don't know. I forgot to mention that. Apparently they have these periodic earthquakes, which we find out is King Jellyjam. But yeah, I forgot to mention that. My bad. Coming soon, Revenge of the Londons. Yeah. Alright. Really good book. I can't say anything more. I can't praise it enough. We really need an episode of Goosebumps with that. I understand why we couldn't got an episode. I don't really think an episode could have done that justice. Can you guys? Maybe if with this new revamped Goosebumps thing, which I don't think it's going to be any good based on the synopsis that I've read about it, but I could be surprised. Hopefully, there's a King Jellyjam episode on its way. Hopefully. With that said, I guess... See you at the Winter's Walk, y'all!